Please sit. Why don't you enjoy a cup of calming jasmine tea? Prince Zuko, pride is not the opposite of shame, but its source. True humility is the only antidote to shame.
Us two and our new guest, Sammy 3P. What up?
Thanks for having me.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Gord.
Hey, how you doing?
Man, the memes get me. I love the fan base. A lot of mixed reviews on this, which I guess with everything, most people hate everything that's coming out nowadays, but this has been a real mixed bag from what I see in all these like avatar communities and groups throughout social media or across social media platforms. So it's been fun. Okay. I am the abomination known as AJ, and I am joined by the Gourd King, my fellow panelist, here to talk some Avatar. Netflix
That's
Avatar.
my
gotta be
name.
specific. That is you.
Oh my goodness. How is everybody?
I'm good. We're good. I'm sure the chat's good. Jana, I think she's good. They're doing some family stuff, so she's not here. No, actually, Jana is here. We've gender swapped. Now Jana goes by Sammy Three Pete,
Yes, in
and
Gosh.
true
and
Netflix fashion.
and he him pronouns. Let me not assume. Could have they them be in there somewhere?
Mm,
What's up,
I'm
Sammy?
throwing a they them. I'm a they themer.
All right, I should have been pulling up the Netflix show while I was talking, but let's get right into it. Go ahead. What are y'all initial thoughts? How we feeling about? I guess just this Avatar stuff in general, so far, because this is what episode 6. We only got 2 more, and then we're done.
Yeah, then the
No.
nightmare has ended.
Holy shit! I thought there were 10.
Thank God there's not 10.
That's makes me feel a little better and worse because I mean they're just cramming so much in. I don't even know what their end game is. Like I mean, even in the live action One Piece, I could kind of see where they were going and when they cut it off, and I was like, okay. In this, I have no idea what they're planning on doing because it's so disjointed.
Like this is what happens when you chew on a show, you swallow it up, and then you push out a crap version of it. This is they're I mean, I know they're approved for 2 more seasons, so I would assume that means they're going to be able to cover the whole thing.
Oh yeah, they're doing it book by book then, just like in the show. But
yeah, that's what I assume. And okay, that's I guess we'll have more episodes to chew on in the years to come. I mean, which means we're gonna see these kids, I guess, get become older versions of themselves, and hopefully in that time they'll learn to act, and the writers who are already adults will learn to write. I doubt that will happen,
they won't.
but
I just want Aang to learn to water bending. I mean, we should have gotten that in book 1 / season 1 or whatever. That's not happening. So his growth is slowed. Katara rises to the occasion, except in this episode where they have fucking no presence at all. Sammy, you disappointed me, man. This episode is it's probably the worst.
Okay, I said I hated this episode the least out of all the ones that I saw. So if you want to take that as some sort of me backing this episode and say I'm just saying I didn't think that I was going to be able to shit on it like I could episode 5, because episode 5 was abysmal. I was able to at least watch this in one sitting without pausing it and going, oh my God. Maybe besides the Roku thing where he goes on for, like you said, 10 minutes, and that's the one thing that they have totally, well, not the one thing, but something that they have totally screwed up is there is no allure to this. There was like a lot of these, like when you talk to like the previous avatars, they just feels like a information dump instead of like having a little bit of like mystery to it. And I know they have less episodes to do that, but I was like, there's good writing could definitely make up for it.
Well, and as I've iterated and reiterated, it's deceptive because people think, oh, it's only 8 episodes, so they don't have as much time, and I'm like, they almost do. It's like that. There's less than 10 minutes of runtime difference between this and the cartoon's first season, so
Wow.
there's they could have fit in everything they wanted, really. Like I've said before, it's like you could ditch the Great Divide episode, and boom, you could do the rest of the show if you wanted to. Which, granted, I understand structurally that's difficult to do, but this could have been far less disjointed. I don't think this is necessarily the worst episode. I still think Omashu is by far the worst episode. I think that is the low point, and yet I would say dialogue wise, this is the worst. But a lot of that is because this is probably the episode that has the most Aang dialogue, and they've done such a bad job with pretty much every line he has to say. Just comes off odd and poorly acted and really poorly thought out. I mean, we'll get into it as the episode progresses, but like I initially watching this episode today, I started to think, well, maybe I should take notes on all the bad lines, but I was like, I realized about 5 minutes and I was like, if I'm going to do that, I have to write down every single line. I would have to write down every single line because it's bad. It's all bad. It's not just the acting. It's so weird how they've written him in this. I'm like, I get he's supposed to be 12, but he's not stupid. He's not completely stupid. My gosh.
Yeah, and he has a charm that just isn't translating. And also there's like blatant rewrites and character assassinations all throughout this series that have just been very hard for me to watch. And there's no reason for it. I honestly think what you said, the Great Divide, that's the one where they're going through the tunnels, right, to get to
well, that's the one where they're
Boomy.
trying to get the Great Divide is from the cartoon. That's the one where they're going through the canyon.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh, like each other. It's widely regarded as probably the most useless episode in the entire series, which it is. It is like literally nothing happens.
Oh yeah, when he wraps it all together, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I was bullshitting." I was like, "I never met those twins."
Yeah, it's literally the one episode of the show that you could cut it out completely and you miss none of the story.
The one episode I'm thinking, I don't know all the episodes names, but the Love Tunnel, like they could have just cut that out. I think the only reason they had it in is because they wanted to do the Secret Tunnel song. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely didn't need that episode in the live action series, and you sure as heck didn't need it in season 1 because in the cartoon it's season 2, and at least has a function in the cartoon. It progresses Aang and Katara's love story. It tells you a little bit about earthbending that is kind of neat. But there's not a whole lot to that episode. It's fine.
God, does Aang drop the ball on that?
Here for
what does he say? He was like, if I had the choice of kissing you or dying.
Yeah,
I'd rather kiss you than die.
Yeah, it's a compliment. And I was like, even as a younger man, I was like, it's not gonna go well, Aang.
All right, y'all. Let me hurry up and run through the chat and address the people who have graced us with their presence. Jacob Ironside, what is up, y'all? What's up, sir? How you doing? Us, y'all are here. Y'all are responding, talking. Zax, you're already going. Man, we was actually kind of late, but you didn't hear it from me. I burned everything. What are you talking about? This show, everything about this show, everything coming out. I'm glad Sammy is here to bring some much needed tea to this party. Sammy bringing the P. Sammy is a pimp. He looks like a pimp. He got the hand kind of just right there, just dangling with the ring showing off. He got the Superman curl. He about that business. Gore can't do everything. Zax, don't be afraid of my tea, bro. My high tea. Fake BA. You should beg Zack Snyder to save this worthless franchise. The franchise doesn't need saving. Only the Netflix version sucks. The cartoon is amazing. Tim Salt, yo, AJ, I like this series. Not as good as One Piece live action, but still enjoyed it. I didn't really watch Avatar, the animated series, much. I want to hear your perspective, Tim. Maybe you can hop on the next one. Because I always wonder.
If he liked it, we shouldn't let him on. Tim is
wrong. I could see that though, because I watched the episode again and I had a buddy over and he had not seen the cartoon, and he was like, well, I don't see what everybody doesn't like about this. And I was like, well, you have Netflix, go home and watch the cartoon and you tell me, which is better paced.
I
And
don't think you need to like the cartoon to know this is bad. I think this is terrible without the cartoon existing. It's
I
not a
think
well
it's
structured story. It's bad
well, I'll give One
dialogue. It's
Piece the same thing. I mean, I love One Piece, and I tried this time to go. It's a separate thing. They're gonna try and tell the story their own way, and I feel like, as much as I didn't like it, I feel like One Piece was much more successful than what this is trying to do.
I mean, I would like to view the live action One Piece because I have no frame of reference with the cartoon. I don't watch a lot of anime, and I've never seen the anime One Piece. I'm aware of what it is, but I have no idea what it's about, or I've never seen any of it. So I mean, that one nobody could question that I'm viewing it in isolation because that would be my only frame of reference for it. But I mean, I kind of pride myself in my ability not to hold up adaptations against their original iterations.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, I didn't need this show to be a 1-to-1 for, the cartoon. I mean, like I said several times, you could do it 1-to-1 if you wanted to. And there are instances where structurally they probably should have used it more as a guide than they did, but it didn't have to be the same to be good. It's just not good.
Yeah.
It's just not a well put together show.
Well, if they would have stuck with one direction, that's one of my problems, is they don't know what they want to do. And there's times where they want to go darker, and there's
Mhm.
times where I thought that they could have, and then they just try to pull it back and rein it in and make it more like the cartoon. And it was like, no, if you want to make it serious like that, by all means, this is a different adaptation. I like that you said that. Also, never try and do that with One Piece, because those fans are absolutely rabid. And I've made posts about my appreciation on One Piece, and I've had like One Piece fans just come out of the woodwork and tell me to go fuck myself. It's like, dude, I'm
I
agreeing
think
with you.
that gives me all the more reason to do it. I'm fine with that. Now I'm definitely gonna do it. I'm gonna
I'll
watch
go
it,
on that
and I'm
strange
gonna
trip
give
with
my
you, Gord.
opinions, and I'm gonna go in hard for them.
So I definitely want to hear the perspective of someone who hasn't seen the cartoon. Because I've asked y'all before, like, has the spirit of the original, do they capture it here? Like the same goal? Um, does this Netflix live action accomplish that? So to hear Tim and others who haven't seen the cartoon, um eh, with this episode in particular, it would be obvious because, for instance, we have a frame of reference, so we know these characters are shit. But like Roku, it's like, does he seem like the wise, powerful guy? Any, like, I can't even remember. Does this series so far even mention how him and was it Sozin? Who's his friend, the Fire Lord at the time, when he had to fight him at the
Yeah.
volcano?
They haven't mentioned it. They semi hinted at it in this episode, but no, they don't. They haven't mentioned the friendship between them just yet. I don't think.
Yeah, so for the most part, I mean, even the characters themselves, if somebody watched this and they're like, yeah, it's fine, I can enjoy it. And then you show them the original series and they're like, hold on, this character was nothing like that. So
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't accomplish that. And then there's just so much more. I think you got to watch Avatar a few times, though, to really appreciate everything that it has to offer. I mean, I'm always finding out new stuff we're seeing.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Oh,
The
Avatar,
way they handle it.
the
As soon
animated
as I
version of
finish this
Avatar is
series,
worth.
I'm giving Avatar another watch. Like, I this came out a little bit after my childhood, but like, I had younger cousins that I would watch. That's how I got into Naruto too, where it would just kind of be on. I was like, oh, that was cool, and then they were really, really into it. And so I saw a good amount of episodes, and then I can't remember what it was originally streaming on. And I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And I watched it start to finish, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then, yes, just like you said, every single time you kind of notice something a little bit more. I definitely get, I think there's a lot of the humor that shines through after like a second watch. There's things going on in the background that'll make you laugh, or and it's not always an in your face type of laugh out loud thing, but just something funny. You'll notice like a villager doing something stupid in the background, but it was like that was put there because these writers took their time and they cared about the product that they were putting out, and it shines through. And that's why any sort of adaptation of this it's always gonna fail in comparison.
So an example of catching something else on a rewatch, but then again, being in these communities, somebody pointed out that the push-pull technique that Katara taught Aang to start water bending, that was the first thing he learned, and that's the last bending that he used in the show after he had defeated Ozai,
Mm-hmm.
and the everything was on fire, and he simply made the water rise up enough to where it could put out the flames. So little small stuff like that, man, is definitely appreciated. But I think I'm not going to say you need a whole community of people, but when you have that many eyes on this show, it's like everybody's just throwing out different little things about it. All right, y'all. We're talking about the show itself. We got to get to the Netflix version and go through
Yeah.
this.
No.
Do we have to?
No.
Jana, what is up, Jana? How you doing with the
Hi, Jana.
family? Fake BA says, and I hear this in Will Smith's voice when he slapped Chris Rock.
Yeah.
What he say? Keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth.
Well, the best part about that is first he laughed at the joke.
Yes.
And then he turned his head, and so
like, you laugh? You think that's funny?
You don't think that's funny, baby?
No.
Oh, you want to fuck a younger rapper? Okay.
She had a bit of an Avatar look to her that night.
She did.
Oh man. Oh snap. Okay, Gord. All right, going through this. Do I got my captions on? Yup.
Making sure no one.
Wait.
All right, what's happening?
They had a translation in Basque. Isn't that's a language that's like a mixture of Spanish and I thought I just saw Basque.
Yeah,
you did.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a mixture of like Spanish and French that's only spoken in this like remote mountain town.
Okay.
I was like, all right, Netflix.
Hey, what? I didn't know Netflix was there, but okay, good on them. I
yeah.
guess. But yeah, this little opening scene, it's probably it's among the better opening scenes of the show. It's decently acted. It's basically they're showing Zuko here getting ready for his first war council, and Iroh's basically telling him that I think Zuko says, he sometimes he appreciates other people's input. He likes to have many different voices, and Iroh's like, I wouldn't test that here if I were you.
Yeah.
But this is happier Zuko, and as I was saying, huh?
He says that here. I wouldn't test that if I was you.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's not verbatim. But
another thing too, he's like, you laced up your braces wrong, and I was like, how the fuck do you do that? And like, isn't that it's like a shoe, right? You just.
I guess so. It's like, Zuko, you're a little stupid. Let's fix this.
My confusion was just because maybe I missed this part right here, but later on, as we get to the actual council, the meeting, war meeting or whatever, I hated that part.
I would say this because obviously, like so many episodes, there's kind of dual things they're going for at once. or telling like different parts of the story like at separate times.
Mhm.
The story there, it almost feels like this backstory stuff, some of it feels out of place for this episode. Like they're attempting here to show, the backstory of how Zuko got his scar in the first place, and they've kind of meshed it with I guess they've meshed it with the story of like the crew. And
Mhm.
granted, I think, and this is much later in the episode, I think the idea they had for how he got his crew is actually a really good one. It's actually
Mhm.
it's probably the best original idea I think they had for this, but I think the delivery is a little clunky how it occurs. I think it probably would have fit a different episode better. But
I could have swore they mentioned it in the cartoon,
They
though.
do mention it in the cartoon, but it's all in dialogue, and it's just as effective, if not more effective. I don't know the thing about him saving the 41st.
no, that's not in the cartoon.
That I didn't think so,
Yeah, and
but
that's the part I was saying. That's the
no,
original
I
idea
did
that I
like,
think is actually really good. Like that's actually a pretty cool idea they had.
because
So that's the part. Well,
even
that's
in
the
the
part that I was
cartoon,
saying I thought was in the cartoon, but I guess I assumed.
no, he him challenging, well, not even challenging Ozai at all,
No, I'm
just
saying
challenging.
no, I'm saying the group that was supposed to be sacrificed ended up being the group that he was with, banished with. So I
Yeah, I
There's
thought
don't
that
remember that
from the
being in the cartoon.
cartoon.
yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
pretty sure there's no mention of that in the cartoon.
okay,
But
okay.
I was gonna say, because there is that thing at the end where Iroh is like, he does care more, and that actually gives them a kind of a reason, because otherwise it was just like, he does care about this matter. It was like, well, no, it just sounds like he cares about getting back to the village and keeping his namesake. I don't think he gives a shit about the men. But here, this kind of gives him more of a redeeming quality. I didn't see a problem with them adding that in at all.
No, like I said, I think that because in the cartoon, the backstory of how he got his scar is handled in the episode called "The Storm." So they're doing dual backstories at once. They're doing how Aang found out that he was the Avatar and got lost in the storm, and
Mhm.
they're making that go alongside how Zuko got his scar. And in the cartoon, that's the crew becomes more sympathetic to Zuko because they are finding out, oh,
Yes.
he basically his dad abused him and banished him, which is really awful. It really had nothing to do with the crew itself. He just stuck up for uh a group of young recruits, because in the cartoon his crew is not a bunch of young recruits. His crew
No,
has
they're
experience. They're
Mhm.
presented as being older, but in the cartoon they're a little bit younger and everything, so they
well, and
justify
they
that in
do
a decent
question him.
way.
They do question his orders. They do question his loyalty. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah,
when
sure.
Iroh says that, there's a little bit in the cartoon, you do feel for him a little bit more, but I was, like I said, changes like this don't bug me when they serve a purpose, but I mean, there's going to be more that don't fly as well. um you know
So, man, in the comparison to the cartoon, I prefer the way the cartoon handle it because it gives you more insight into Iroh's character. Because he walks in on the crew, uh, shit talking Zuko. And when he walks in, they're like, "Oh, we're sorry." Like,
Mhm.
and he was like, he like raised his hand, like, "Bro, chill out. I don't care. Like, it's fine. But let me tell y'all a little bit more. Like, let me give you some context." So it shows that okay, he's in a position. Yes, he's this great general, the Dragon of the West, all that type of stuff. But he's kind of like more so of this familial, I think that's the word, unit to Zuko as
Familial.
opposed familial unit as opposed to his actual title or his position within the Fire Nation. So it's like, okay, yeah, like I should throw y'all asses overboard for shit talking Zuko, but let's have this conversation so y'all can know a little bit more about him and try to understand where he's coming from. As opposed to here, where they do it, it's just, oh, you should have more respect. You have no idea what he's gone through and yada yada yada. So it's more of what I've seen. I can't speak for y'all, but what I've seen, like even with the avatars with Aang, it's like more talking at people as opposed to, just y'all get what I'm saying.
Oh, I get exactly what you're saying. I also want to bring up this scene right here where Iroh's like kind of helping Zuko with his braces.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
look it up.
it feels very much like a scene you would see in like a romantic comedy where the mother is like dressing the bride before her wedding. Where he's like, and he's like, you look like a prince. And it was like, do I look good, mommy? And it was like, you look beautiful. Like it was just kind of it doesn't feel right. Like it doesn't feel very uncle-y. I feel like he would like punch him on the shoulder and be like, you're gonna do great, kid. Like not like, oh, you got your braces wrong. Let me
Look, man, this show has already shown that it is a product of the times, but I definitely had more gay vibes from Zuko during this episode.
yeah.
And that in comparison to Azula, it's like the complete opposite. So here it seems Ozai really loves Zuko and he wants him to take over. Like, I want you to be, you're the successor, you're the male. Like, I really need you to rise to the occasion. As opposed to in the show where he was like, no, bro, you soft. You too much like your mama. Azula,
I mean,
that's my dog.
what they
She the badass.
ultimately end up going for, as far as the Azula Zuko thing, what the father's doing is he's really just kind of using his kids as pawns. He's just kind of maneuvering them. He sets them against each other to kind of try to push both of them. It's a really horribly realized dynamic. I mean, it's something they could have worked with if it was written better, but they sacrifice so much just to use it, and it's just bad. I mean, because Azula's ruined, which is amazing given that she's not even supposed to be. She wasn't even supposed to be introduced in this season if you were to go by the cartoon. I mean, it's fine if you want to try that early on, but my gosh, they've ruined her in this season so quickly before she's ever been able to actually do anything. It's kind of insane. And I'm like,
as she looks upon autistically as her brother gets his eye burned out. Like,
yeah. So
Gooch.
that instance, it's like we're seeing this emotion from her. Like, yeah, what up, Gooch? Who doesn't want to watch the show and be on the panel and talk about it? But we see that in this episode, but then in the other episode where Ozai was burning the rebels, and it looks like she almost cried, like she actually had feeling. And I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing to Azula, man? She
the only
don't
way
care,
that's gonna work is if there's like a tipping point where it somehow looks like it clicks in her where she goes, well, this is just the way that I have to be. But I mean, let's face it, Azula had resting bitch face from day one. Like, she's a tough cookie.
or menacing, conniving bitch face.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's like now they're trying to make her more, I guess, sympathetic,
which they always try to do with like hardcore villains now, and I think is despicable. Like, I think that's why I like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 so much, is because like the bad guy was just a bad guy. You know what I mean? It was like, and then Rocket Raccoon clawed off his face and he was a worse guy. Like, like he didn't have like some sad story where, his mom left because the world wasn't perfect and he thought, I need to make a perfect world to get my mom back. And he was like, nah, I have the knowledge to create and I will create as I see fit. The life forms I create answer to me. And when I find them useful, I will keep them. And if not, I don't care if they're alive and they have their own Self-Dominion, they actually live under my dominion. I have no problem destroying them any single time I please because they are my property. And I'm a bad guy. Mwahaha, I'm a fucking bad guy.
Well, it's what
Why?
they seem to have forgotten with programs these days, and it's especially true here, is you can create complex villains that obviously did not start out as bad guys. I mean, yes, I mean no person realistically is going to start as a bad guy. You have to be groomed into that. You have to have circumstances cause you to get there. I mean, there's a lot of factors that generally play into someone becoming evil. Even the cartoon understood this. They go into the fact that, hey, Ozai used to be a little kid, and they have that little picture of him looking all innocent and stuff, and Aang is very troubled by that. Azula has her background where she didn't get along with her mother, but at the end of the day, it's like, where are they right now? Because that's what's mostly going to matter, is what are they now? What is the problem they present? And if you're already in a villainous state, you need to, if the character's already in a villainous state, you don't need to make them sympathetic. You can go into their background and show a little bit of how they got there as something of a warning. I mean, which to me is like, that's how you effectively tell a villain story. Is you're like, yes, there are bad things that happen. That's not exactly their fault, but this is who they are now. They're a problem. We need to deal with that problem. That's good writing. That's how you make a good villain. And this show is not doing that. This show wants to make, pretty much everybody outside of Ozai sympathetic in some way, shape, or form. And I'm like, I was like, you're all killing Azula in the process. You have
Yeah.
already ruined her character that quickly, because she's not supposed to be sympathetic at this point in her life. She is supposed to be basically a force of nature. She's really kind of the primary antagonist of the entire show. She is supposed to be the primary antagonist pretty much of the whole show, because Ozai is really only there at the end and in spots here and there.
You know what would have been a great way to show this is when he was getting his eye burn, is like, because they have her looking like kind of like all like innocent. If she all of a sudden like had that look and then like went like this, and then you saw like little sparks of lightning come out of her eye, like you're like, oh shit, like they've awoken this villain. Let the antagonist be an antagonist. Like I'm so sick of I got picked on, or daddy was abusive, or was like they waste so much time on that. And there you go. There's your pacing issue right there. You could have done that in a callback that took 15 seconds.
All right, y'all. We only got 1 minute and 6 seconds into it.
I blame you.
Sorry.
Come on, get scrolling.
Oh, but real quick,
We've
Zach,
covered this
I'm
whole
glad
season.
you don't have the plague anymore, buddy. He
Until
sweated
he
it out.
does.
Yeah, and
He put the E there intentionally.
Huh?
Okay. Is he telling the truth?
Oh.
And Gord. Okay. Hello, fellow queers. He's talking to you, Sammy.
Yeah, or hello yourself.
Ooh, he came in talking about queer. Hold on.
Yeah.
Iroh. Oh, Iroh had the mouth puckered. It was like perfectly circular.
Hey, it's queer. It's queer
There we
Iroh
go.
for the straight gyro.
Queer Iroh.
Okay, I advise against testing that. Best to observe and learn for now. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So, I mean, oh man, because in the show, Zuko spoke out. He was like, "Nah, man, you're gonna kill those dudes." But here, Ozai actually asked him.
You probably should scroll
like,
forward a lot more before, because we're not even close to that part here.
We're not. Wow.
No, it's like you haven't even got to the council. We haven't got to that part of the council yet.
Okay. So Zhao came in. He took over. He was like, "I'm an admiral. I run this ship now."
Pretty much, yeah.
Zuko's like, "Man, fuck you, bro. Go on somewhere." Hey,
And here's Zuko's
private
basic.
Bow, do what I said. He's like, "No." He's like, "Do you know what's the cost of treason?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, I do. Zhao made that clear. That's why I'm not listening to you right now."
Yeah.
So he's okay. Zuko walked out. He's talking to Iroh. Like, yeah, we had to sit here and listen to the pampered prince bitch and moan, throw his tantrums. He knows nothing about sacrifice. I know Zuko has his rough edges. It's like what he says, man. He's trying to be smart, but it's so elementary at the same time. It's like respect the audience enough to give us a more.
The only
And he
thing that
knows.
the only thing that's and this actually is really bothersome now that I'm thinking about it, is the revelation they go for at the end of the episode. It
Just look
doesn't make a
cool.
lot of sense that they haven't told them this. I mean, they could have told them this a long time ago. If there was, I don't see why you would hide that. There's
Yeah.
really no good reason to
Well,
hide that information, especially if you are wanting your men to be loyal and you're wanting to lead them. I could get maybe Zuko saying, "Look, I'll try to be modest and not say it," but Iroh, I'm like, dude, I'm telling everyone what my nephew did for you. It's like, hey, y'all need to work your tail off for him. He saved your freaking life.
well, because they all think that they're just on this, bullshit quest. They don't respect him. They was like, yes, why wouldn't you just drop that from the get? Like, hey, guys, you could have been cannon fodder. Or you could help the prince. Like, why would you hide
If
that
you're Zuko, you're
information?
like, we have this borderline impossible task. I need you all on your A game. So here's why you should be. I saved your lives.
Yeah. And
Yeah, for sure.
lead me to victory, help me claim my name right. I will greatly reward everyone who, serves me loyally. People would people that seems like a great way to take hold of your men. But no, cuz reasons.
Because okay, so the dynamic they go for in the cartoon is obviously this isn't a division that he saved. His crew is a little bit older. You get the sense they're a bit more experienced. They all see him as a pampered prince. The dynamic works. There is no, him not giving his backstory in the cartoon makes total sense. It's completely personal, and granted, Iroh sees an opportunity to use it to maybe help them to understand where he's coming from. And it's like, okay, that makes sense why that information would be held back or seen as unimportant up to that point. Here, it's like you have information that directly could affect the loyalty and the effort your men would give you. So again, I like the idea of Zuko being given command over this division that he saved, basically, but there's no reason they shouldn't already know that.
Yeah.
It's just they wait until a convenient moment to finally tell you, which they've waited too long, really. They've actually ended up waiting too long because of I don't know. I don't think they've revealed it yet how the younger officer, how he factors into this whole thing. But yeah, it's like, you probably should have told him this a little earlier. He might have been loyal.
You could have skipped the scene where Iroh is dressing up Zuko for Firebender prom and maybe thrown that scene in there and it would almost, flow a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's move. All right, so Gooch asked, does this show follow the animation? Instead of writing with Roku's dragon, figuring out where the shrine is and getting to the island, and Aang flies all the fuck away to Roku's shrine in the Fire Nation, and here he is. Hey, I'm the Avatar. What's up, old guys?
Yeah, he just comes out and reveals himself to them, and I'm just like, why is Aang stupid? Why? Seriously, why are you stupid? It's like that enough time has passed that the Fire Nation is after you. Why would he just assume, well, they're supposed to be like this? And I'm like, yeah, but that's not how it is. This is stupid.
What, Gord? I would assume that though.
No, you wouldn't. Don't give this show grace. You wouldn't assume.
No, I made this joke. I made the joke as I was watching it. I was like, okay, this is what happens when you merge church and state. And him being a kid, him being naive.
He didn't do it in the cartoon. He was smart in the cartoon. He didn't just give himself up and say. It's one thing if you get discovered and you just simply try to play that card. that makes sense to say,
There,
oh, I got caught. Well, let's see if maybe this
there
works.
were
No, he
some
just comes out and
times.
says, "Hi, I'm here."
There were some
AJ,
times
I'm
that
gonna
he did
apologize
reveal himself.
what I messaged you earlier because yes, now after like going through this with you guys, this is a bit of a doozy. And I love how you said why is Aang stupid? When he did this, I think I rewound this like 3 times because I was positive that I missed something. Like, there was no information dump like, hey, this guy's got an in. I heard a rumor that this guy might actually be on my side. He was like, no, I'm just gonna go there.
Well, and
What are
here's
you
the other
doing?
thing. The flip side to him being that it's like, okay, you could say, well, maybe he's young and naive. And I'm like, well, hang on. If you're going to use that, you have to think of the flip side of it. He has no more reason to think in his youth that they would be loyal to him because he
Mhm.
only recently, in his own, I guess in his own head, he only had recently found out he was the Avatar. He wouldn't know all that much about priests in various nations who serve the Avatar.
You're
He would
right.
have
Yeah.
no reason to even know that. So it's like the neutral assumption is I'm going into the Fire Nation, probably shouldn't reveal myself to anybody. Again, I get playing the card out of desperation because what other choice do you have? Like they did in the cartoon. Here it's just he walks out like, well, I'm here. I'm here. Is everything good? It's like, oh no, it's not good, is it?
You're right. Cause yeah, with this, if I was him, it's anybody with red on, I don't trust you.
Of
Oh
course, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you're in the Fire Nation, so you know these are Fire Nation priests. I mean, there's no mystery to that. So, ugh, Aang is such an idiot in this show.
It's like,
They've made him.
we know.
They've made him stupid.
I'm the Avatar. We know. We've come to kill you. And then he runs into the random guy, which happens in the cartoon as well.
Sure.
I'm gonna save you. He has that face like, you sure? Your boy's out there just tried to off me.
Yeah, but he's skeptic of this guy, right?
He's skeptical for about 2 seconds, and then it's like, oh, okay, he's loyal. It's like, oh, okay.
All right.
Right. What other choice does he have?
Yeah,
Fly out the
that
window
doesn't
to
bother
come back?
me a terrible amount. I mean, because you've made him stupid anyway, so at least he's consistently stupid. But
Yeah, let's ride this stupid train.
but yeah, that's what I was just like, whatever, fine, it's go with it. He does help him immediately, so it's like, all right, he gives him a little bit of a
That's fair.
reason to trust him. But granted, he still could be leading him into a trap for all he knows. But at least in that moment, he has no choice. Whereas beforehand, he just walks out like, I'm here.
Yeah, he could have stayed behind the pillar and kind of like eavesdrop, see what they were talking about. We're trying to find the Avatar and whatever. Then he was like, "Oh snap!" But yeah, he just comes straight out. This
No,
bothered me.
Dempsey. Aang looks very derpy.
Yep.
This bothered me with is that Zuko's sister? No.
Nope. This
You
is
know what?
This is June. June's pretty
June
cool.
June does look like a cool aunt.
Yeah, the lady's a little older than you might think. She's actually close to 40, but she looks good for her age. She looks really good for her age.
Yeah, this could be a sister.
I was a little bothered by the fact that she's doing this solo. I like the dynamic better where Iroh and Zuko are with her, but whatever, that's fine. I mean, it's not necessarily an
hated
issue.
it.
It's not an issue necessarily with logic. It's more that we're missing the character dynamic between all three of them, which I really liked.
The
But,
character dynamic, as well as far as I can remember, Zuko has not actually been successful at all.
No.
So he has not captured the Avatar. June captured the Avatar.
Yeah.
And
you would think, and I guess if there is a logic with an issue with logic, you would be like, Zuko would want to be there with her. Yes, you can pull him away from her in some fashion, which they don't really do any dialogue to show you why they're not with her, which probably would have been helpful, but it's workable, but they haven't done the legwork. So
yeah, because she could have easily accepted a higher bounty from somebody else and given him
exactly, it's like she could catch him and just as easily say, "Well, you're not even the one in charge. I'm gonna go to the man in charge, say, hey, I've caught the Avatar. Pay up."
which she says something like that as we go on. But This bothered me just because she found this article of clothing or this little tattered clothing or whatever, this shred of Aang's clothing. I was like, come on, bro. You didn't highlight that in the show. I don't know. This piece
Exactly.
is missing. I
That's
thought it was
something
a
that
nitpick,
would have been
but
so easy to show is him
yeah.
running from them, running into a branch and it ripping something off. It's like you could have done stuff like that. Nope.
It would have
Just
been
happens to be
perfect.
here.
He could have been like, oh man, I ripped my cloak or whatever. And then Sokka would have been like, hey, Qatar, do your woman thing and sew that up for him or something.
Oh, they would have never done that in this show.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen the clothes in the show? There, no tailoring, no cleaning even required.
but
All the
any-
clothes
any-
stay clean the entire time. They're fine.
Any motherly traits that Katara had have been completely stripped.
Yep. Katara is just a great bender who misses her mom. That's her whole character.
Pretty much.
I believe the Avatar represents not any one kingdom. These are all relics from previous avatars, like you said, Gord. Somehow Roku just got collected all this shit.
Yeah, so this to everyone who's not familiar with the show, so this is not random. This is a plot point and a very clunky one. He just so happens to where it just so happens that this guy who's helping him, his grandfather collects all these avatar relics for safekeeping. And it's like, okay, wonder why that is. And if you'd remember the previous episode, Ko was telling him, perhaps you're here to return what you stole from me. It's like, how are they gonna connect these things?
This transition bothered me because I mean, right here he's talking to the one sage guy that's helping him, and then in the very next scene, which it seemed like they were in the same room, these guys just walk up. So I'm like, oh, this Aang over here trying to meditate, and this one dude is about to fight off all of these guys while he's over there crouched in the corner. But no, somehow this is a different room.
And one thing to keep in mind for a bit later, and since we were just talking about June, this is an island. This is an island that is.
Wow, I did not think about
I forgot that.
So just keep that in mind for later on. This is an island they're on. It's
I had an issue with it going, but now that you say that, it's even worse.
The hits just keep on
it's
coming.
like, and that's just one of two major problems for what's to come.
This is an island, bro.
This is an island they're on, and she is riding. Man. She is riding a land beast. So.
Yes.
But anywho, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. It's like, yes, fire is not meant to dominate.
He has like a merkin on his chin, by the way.
Oh yeah, like, he kind of does.
that is a pube wig.
Okay.
That's a good question. Where is Momo? Momo is only there when it's convenient for him to be there.
Is he with Appa?
I mean, I'm sure he probably is. That's where we're supposed to think he is.
Yeah.
In the mystical creature stable.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're playing defense. They're guarding Sokka and Katara, I guess.
Yeah.
In a barren forest, by the way. So it's like, oh, I hope they have food. Which I'm sure they do. They'll be fine.
Well, Momo will find some nuts or something to bring back to his big brother, Appa.
Yeah.
That would have been funny if you saw him actually like trying to force food down Sokka and Katara's mouth.
That would be funny. that would have been actually good organic comedy.
Yeah. Like they had in the show. There was plenty of times where Momo was like a, breath of levity.
Oh man, that could have been hilarious. Then you shall burn along with the rest of the non-believers. This dude. Gooch, this for you. I'm going to play a little bit just for you.
To bow before your elders.
This is Roku. All right, I can't play too much.
Roku is the avatar who has the power to bend channel apps.
Yes.
Channel apps.
Yeah, you've never
Yes.
had a Roku? It's like a Fire Stick.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I did not pick that up.
You can
Yes.
plug earbuds into the back of him and listen to any show you want without
Yeah.
using the volume. It's nice.
What is it? He does commercials. Roku's a failed TV star, TV actor. He's on.
Yeah.
He's reduced to commercials.
But yeah, like you were saying this a little earlier offline, is Roku, they're trying to give this Iroh-like sense of humor, whereas on the in the cartoon he's more, he's a little more stoic. I mean, he's not without a sense of humor, but
Mhm.
he's very
We only
much
see it when he's younger, so we get to see him actually grow as the Avatar.
Well, we
And
do
he is
eventually, but when we first meet Roku, he's the older, more sagely
yeah.
type. But this is the first time we're actually meeting him in the show, which I don't necessarily mind them going for a little bit more of a, a little bit more of a more humorous approach to him. That's fine in and of itself, but it's they still don't give him very good dialogue here. It's a little silly. I mean, he's like, "Hey, I need your help defeating." He's like, "I'll help you with anything." And he's like, "I need your help defeating Ko." And he's like, "Anything but that." And it's like, okay, you're going for humor there. That's kind of cartoon writing. It works in a cartoon. Here, it's like, if y'all keep going for serious, but you're not doing serious very well at all.
Mhm.
Like Ko is not. I mean, sure, not showing emotions, getting your face stolen. That's pretty fucked up. Okay, that's terrible. But
Oh, it's
he's not
horrific.
like it is. But he's not actually like attacking anybody. So it's like if you don't look at him, if you don't cross his path, then he's not a threat.
Well, that's how he's presented in the cartoon. Here, he's been presented as he's going to eat them. They don't really even call him the face stealer in this. He's just Ko. And
Cold.
yes, he does take their faces ultimately, but he calls these people his food. And oh, by the way, there's Aang's not aware of any timeline of how long his friends or the other people there have to live. I brought this up in the last episode, so his sense of urgency is very off, because it's like I mean, you'd be thinking, I have no idea how long I have to fix all of this. So you'd think he'd be very urgent, but also very careful, and he's really neither.
Squeaka, thank you for the 5 memberships.
Squeaka.
What month is it? Is it March? I'm gonna
Yeah.
get back to doing more streaming, more consistent content. Just a lot of stuff going on that I had to have to square away, get together. But I will get back at it. These memberships will mean something, people. I mean, shit, me and Gord got our avatars right here. I've been working on a lot of art in the background.
Yeah.
Sammy, you'll come through again.
Oh, for sure. Anytime.
Yeah. We do got to get our consistent avatar panelist though. Squeaka, what do I want to play for you? You know what? I got you. I like this.
But the boy, nothing.
What the fuck? So your weird ass was trying to get head from a little kid?
Okay, that's enough. Calm down, Naruto. He's not the enemy. Not right now.
Nah, fuck that shit! This nigga is a fucking pedophile!
I need to watch Naruto. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, that one got me.
Squeaka, thank you so much.
That's the best Naruto voiceover I've heard since I watched the Naruto Abridged series. I thought that was the only one who did the Naruto parody. That's great.
Oh my god.
Look, now, Haku is still a girl, as far as I'm concerned. Squeaka, can't stay, but happy Easter, y'all. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Good things, blessings for everybody. Thank you so much, Squeaky. You're amazing. Not just to me, to everybody in this goddamn community. I love you too, man. I love meeting y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you two dudes on this panel right now. If we
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
have done
mean,
it, we wouldn't have met each other and been able to do this stuff, man. We're saying three-peat.
I mean, this has been excellent. I mean, everybody that I've met has just been so awesome. And like I said, it just kind of all just happened by accident. And now I'm just hanging out and watching this shit show with my buddies. So
This is gay. Let's go.
yeah.
I was speaking of gay. Aang, I think he looks perfect, Gooch. Because he said he doesn't look like Aang. He looks like the perfect Aang, man.
The look isn't really the problem with Aang. Granted, I still have an issue with all the clothing always being pristine. I think that's really annoying. But yeah, I mean, as far as the look is concerned, it's fine. But the kid can't act.
You know something? You talking about what you're tired of? I'm tired of every fucking show has this line now. What took you so long? Roku says that here. It's like
Facts.
It's like,
everybody goes
Roku, you're in the spirit world. You could kind of go anywhere you want. So what do you mean, what took me so long?
It's like, dude.
Oh, I don't know.
something-
I had to go to Fire Nation territory to come meet you. I don't know. That's what took me so long. You dick.
Or he could have been like, it took me also amount of time to enter the spirit world. What's like, what's wrong, Ang? What's going on? Like something like that. Like, come on now. We can still do the what's taking so long, but let's switch it up. Let's be a little bit more creative with how we
Yeah,
deliver
it is.
it.
It's one of those lines that is way overused. Oh, what took you so long? It's like, shit.
And it takes me immediately back to Obi-Wan when what was Liam Neeson's character?
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon. Yeah, when Qui-Gon's talking to Obi, what took you so long? Bro, I've heard that shit, I think a good 3 times.
What was
Maybe
that was that on the Obi-Wan show?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't watch that all the way through, so it was horrendous. So
me either.
it was disgusting.
I don't know what I watched. Maybe I watched somebody's stream like talk about it. I know I didn't have any interest in the show at all.
No, Disney Star Wars is the worst.
Yeah.
Maybe he meant the 100 years off that he took because he was busy being a pussy. Pussy. Cannoli, watch the cartoon, man.
Yeah,
I definitely
cartoon's
suggest
great.
it. Like, I know
Yeah.
your daughter is like older, like a teenager, but most of the people that I knew watched it as teenagers. I was a little bit older, I think, but it's like, man, look, this is some great content to share with your child, man. Watch it, put her on something good.
Yeah, we should probably get scrolling because we're barely through this episode and we're already an hour into the show.
Like I said, this
Barely.
ended up being a doozy. I don't know what type of crack I was smoking earlier. I was going, I didn't think it was that bad. And then we're
And then I don't know who brought up Kyoshi. Well, I guess Aang. What did Kyoshi tell you the role of an avatar was? To be a badass, fuck shit up.
It's like, oh, that sounds like Kyoshi, and it's like, but it's like he kind of completely agrees with her. So it's like, okay, well then,
yeah,
disagree
he
with
gives
her, move
like
on.
this shitty. He's like, but you need to learn to fuck shit up in your own way. It's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Try being a diplomat first, and if that fails, fuck it, punch him in the face with wind.
It's not a great scene. It's not terrible. It's kind of, I mean, he's really just kind of telling him.
Yeah, what did Aang learn here?
The only thing he learned was, gosh, I hate even repeating it. It's so cringe.
This is what he learned.
He basically learns about the relic.
Okay.
Mother of many faces. He's like,
You have
Ko
the
wants
statue.
he's what everyone wants, family. And I'm like, kill me. That's I don't want to know. Oh, Ko just wants love. It's like, piss off. That's not Ko.
And I was like,
No.
bro, that's not relevant. That's not Cole. We don't even know that he has any type of family, any attachments.
Well,
To
no, he
any.
tells him here that the artifact is his mother's. He does tell him that.
Well, I'm saying in the cartoon, we
No,
don't
the
know.
cartoon, Ko
is
is a
related.
mysterious figure who he has to basically. There's a great scene of tension between them where it's like, yeah, don't show any facial expressions or he'll steal your face. Simple, effective, great.
Yeah,
Here
that
they're
was
they're trying to make us sympathetic towards Ko. Why? He's
Because
a
that's what
giant
they
insect with
fucking
creepy
do
face.
now.
He's Pennywise in centipede form. Why do I
Yeah.
need to feel sympathy for him?
Mhm.
This is so stupid.
And you know something? Like the mother. That's weird because the mother is gone. There's no indication that she's evil. She created faces.
And she's basically this made me crack up because just conceptually it's retarded. She said, but you know, she basically like before her, there was no identity in the world. It's like,
Yeah.
what the heck does that mean?
Yeah.
What the
There
fuck
was
does that
no
mean?
identity in the world. I was like, what?
No
That's
pronouns either.
Stupid. Exactly. This chick, I guess, yeah, she created gender identity. So I'm like, well, shoot, we should murder
Oh
her.
man,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened.
Bitch has got to go.
She's the they them.
Yes,
Yeah.
the three faces on this article are she, they, them, or
Yeah.
something. I
Yeah, the
guess.
OG, they, them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of it. It was like when Khaleesi gets like
Ko's mother is the first
gets paraded
transgender.
out in every Game of Thrones episode, and they got to give her every one of those fucking titles. That's one of hers. It was like she's the OG, they, them.
Oh my
Look,
gosh.
I don't know. We're jokingly serious here.
No,
I
yeah,
think this
it's
is
no, it's
actually
like
Yeah,
what
believe
they're
me, there is truth to this humor. I assure you. This is I'm not
Unfortunately.
making this up. They literally say before her, like basically she
There was
created
no
identity,
identity.
and I'm like, what?
Mhm.
That's retarded.
Yeah.
Move on. This is so stupid. Just say this thing belonged to his mother. He misses mommy. Go give it back. But
Mhm.
what's so funny is they act like, oh, nobody can defeat Ko. It's impossible. It's like, well, what if I give him back the statue? Oh, well, that should do it.
Yeah.
It's really simple, guys. It's like, apparently this is really easy. All it takes is a fetch quest. You don't even have to expend any HP.
Oh
Jeez.
yes. Go find the totem and deliver it to Ko. Okay.
Oh, I've got great news. That guy, his grandfather, it's got it right there on the shelf for you.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? You're in the
In-
right
in
place.
his previous Avatar collection.
Yeah,
Safely return. Plus 500 experience.
It's like, thank God he didn't like take a trip to Pawn Stars or anything like that and sell it, but it's right there behind you on the shelf. You're good. It's like, oh, good.
He craves family, the centipede that eats fucking lost souls.
Yeah, it's like, granted, he still wants to eat people, but it's mostly about family.
Mhm.
It's a big fast. He's a big
You
fast and furious.
Oh, damn it! You beat me to it. I was.
Ko's other name is Vin Diesel.
Yeah, so in this
familiar.
Oh, bro, if somebody could do that, if somebody could meme that and put Vin Diesel's face on Ko, like you stole and say it's about family. Bro.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Who needs lost souls when you got family?
Dude, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out how to make that. But yeah, this is that scene where Roku's like, anything, what do you need, Aang? He's like, it's Ko. He was like, oh, anything but that. Not him. I'm not fucking with that guy.
Yeah.
Not again.
He presents him the totem and you hear, it's been a long day.
Yeah. Yes, my friends. Friends stuck. You as the Avatar need to leave those friends behind. And then he just slowly starts moving towards, okay, well, I have this. This could work. I'm like, dude, hold on. You just told me you wasn't going to help. Like, nothing means anything in this show, really.
No. It's just temporary obstacle to stretch out the runtime. And oh, yeah, of course. Also in this scene, they're hitting you over the head again with, the adults have the expectations on the young people, and that's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do this with friends. And he's like, but I'm going to get it done with friends. That's what makes me different. Like the themes could not be more insanely overt in this show. And I know we're in episode 6. You'd figure we all got it at this point because they've done this a lot already. They're gonna keep doing it for the next couple episodes too.
Beat you
They're
over
gonna
the
make
fucking head with it.
absolutely sure you know expectations are bad and you gotta do this with your friends.
Okay.
so
So these dudes were supposed to be in a big firefight, and then we come to realize that they're all just paralyzed on the ground because June and Nyla. So yeah, this is an
have come
island.
to an island somehow. They found their way onto an island.
How the fuck did
And she took out Fire Nation sages, which is probably not legal. You probably could get. I mean, granted, would they forgive her if she brings her the Avatar? Sure, but that's a pretty massive risk you're taking.
Ozai seems like a very reasonable, forgiving guy.
Yeah,
He wouldn't
I'm sure
take
he wouldn't
as a
find any
slight.
reason to say, you know what, we're not going to pay you. We're just going to let you not have a prison sentence. You know, that won't be, that couldn't be used against her in any way. I'm just saying it's not very forward thinking. And again, island. She got there on a land creature somehow. How did that thing track her? That thing had to have tracked Aang in the air. He flew here.
He flew. And no signs of like burn damage on either of them.
No, they're fine.
No.
Oh, and by the way, so this thing, obviously we didn't see it here. So this thing paralyzed Aang. If you recall in the previous episode, the first guy you see that thing attack, she says, "Don't die." Basically telling you that, oh, this thing, its toxin can potentially kill you. This is a child. That dosage would probably be far more dangerous to a young person than to an adult. So it should be of great concern that, okay, I need to make sure this kid has proper attention or whatever. Maybe even not attack him this way because, oh yeah, he might die given what we suggested in the previous episode.
Which they don't want.
Nope.
At all.
That would be bad.
Because then the whole process starts all over again.
All right, June is hot. She gets shit done.
She is hot. I'll give it that. I'll definitely give her that.
I promise you that's what these creators, showrunners, whatever, wanted us to get from her.
She's not sitting very ladylike.
No, she's doing a little bit of man spreading. She's got, but I look at it as she's a little tomboyish, which that's fine. She can be a little tomboyish. She's a bounty hunter. It's cool.
You know, she's wearing pants. That's fine nowadays.
Yeah, when she was introduced in the cartoon, she was arm wrestling with a buff dude and kicking his ass.
Yeah, that's right.
And she was voiced by Jennifer Hale, who, you know, she can do the tomboy character really well. She's done it in a lot of video games. You know, she's good at it.
Yeah, man, I like this June.
I like June. I'm fine with June.
Yeah.
This part right here, man, it sucked. That right there. So he was like, feel free to count or you can count it. And she was like, I don't need to. I trust
because you're so cute. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, and he says, he was like, I don't need to count it. He said, why? Because if anything's out of place, then you'd hunt us down.
Yeah, that was a weird thing to say.
I mean, that was fine. I think she should have been like, exactly, and then like pinched his cheeks, like, you know what's up. But she was like,
well, I don't particularly like the line because I'm like, well, Iroh, you are the dragon of the West. That shouldn't be a concern for you. I mean, you can say it in a fashion where it's kind of playful, and that would have been okay. Yeah. But he says it in a way to where he sounds worried about her, and I'm like, okay, Iroh, calm down. You're supposed to be a pretty accomplished bender in your own right. You're supposed to be able to handle yourself. It's like there's a way you can play it, and it's fine. They didn't play it that way for whatever reason.
Yeah, they just made her the dominant figure throughout all of this. Because you're so cute. That's annoying, man.
Yeah.
Look,
also, one quick, how did they know to meet her here? Just curious. I mean, that's something they could have established in dialogue if they had wanted. It's like, hey, when you catch him, we'll be here. But it's like, she would have needed to get word to him. Oh, by the way, he's caught. It's like they just show up. It's like, how did y'all know that she caught him and that they were there? Just curious.
You know what? I didn't think about that, but in that moment, they like, I guess they talking, And she was like, "Oh, your people are here, like heads up or something." When she was talking to Aang, like they're here, and I was like, "What is the signal? Like, how does she know? What the hell were they talking about? Where they needed to be so loud that she overheard them?" Okay, but yeah, this is
It's
him.
just
Just
very sloppy.
Oh,
let me go,
worst,
let me go.
worst acting in the entire episode.
Bad acting and really stupid dialogue, just
Yep.
in general. In case anyone in the audience is curious, he's quite incredulous to the notion that he would not be allowed to be let go so he could help his friends. He's very bothered by this fact.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to understand how it's like, oh, you all are so hard-hearted. How could you keep me from helping friends? I'm like, you realize they're after you. Why would they
Yeah.
let you
He
go?
doesn't understand the concept of being held prisoner, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, why is Aang so stupid?
It was like the last time I had a run-in with the cops to like get in the back of the car, and I was like, but my friends are in trouble. And they're like, oh, well, shit, why didn't you say so?
Officer, don't you understand that me going 20 miles over the speed limit was an accident? I don't understand. Don't you realize that I have to get home? My wife made me dinner. I can't believe this.
That would be so rude of me. Please go home to your wife.
What's up, Mike? Was Aang? I don't know what the hell you trying to say. What's up? I understand that much. Man, do we I don't know, man. I guess just because of all the woman talk, like were there women on the
No,
No.
there's not.
So-
You're not going to have a woman on your war council in this day and time, in all likelihood.
Okay.
Well, definitely not, because what culture is this based on again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is a Chinese culture.
Ugh.
They definitely aren't having women
Ugh.
on their council. Definitely not. I mean,
y'all remember from Mulan? It's a
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
granted,
Yeah.
granted, Azula is exceptional because of her skill, and her dad is, the Fire Lord.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say she's royalty.
she's royalty. It's a little different there, but it's like,
She's a woman.
she's a
Bang's
woman.
accent is terrible.
She will never be worth
I
anything.
thought it spot on. Spot.
Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. This just jumped out at me when I paused it, but
I'll be honest, I wasn't even looking at it that hard. I think my eyes had already rolled to the back of my head at this point, so I didn't even catch that there were women here.
it just made me think about when you were talking about those archers, and they made the
Uh-huh.
archers all women. So
Yeah,
all right, so this
is-
was weird because yeah, in the cartoon, Zuko speaks out like, "This is a terrible plan. Like, what the fuck? You're gonna kill them." But here, Ozai actually asks him, which shows that he is trying to like groom
Mhm.
Zuko for that position, whereas in the show he knew he was not going to be that guy. It seemed like he just wanted any reason. I also found out in the comics, Zuko is not Ozai's dad. I mean, Ozai is not Zuko's father.
don't
So-
bother. The comics are horrible. Those comics are just
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, but come on, man. It gives more reason as to why he don't give a shit about this dude.
It's still dumb.
I mean, it would
I
make more
despise.
sense.
I actually dislike the comics more than I dislike this show. This show's just a
Okay,
bad
wow,
adaptation. I hate
wow.
I genuinely hate the comics. Like,
I didn't
with a
even know there
passion.
were comics.
There are, and they're garbage. They're complete
Damn,
garbage.
Gord.
I
All right.
despise the comics.
Okay, no, keep the hate right here. Keep the hate right here. Okay. So Ozai asked him, "What are you gonna do? Or what do you suggest?" Zuko.
Yeah.
They're earthbenders. He was talking about put the tanks out. We can launch pencil attacks here and there. He's like, bro, what the fuck? All that's stupid.
I actually think if I were writing this, and I'm not even necessarily saying what they do here is entirely flawed as far as the approach, but if it were me, I would have had Zuko, maybe stumble a little bit with his idea of what they maybe should do here at first, like he does. But then I would have had him maybe actually come up with a good idea, and his father actually seeing, okay, he does have potential. Because given the angle they're trying to go with for Zuko's father and his dynamic, that they're trying to, make it seem like he does see some value in Zuko. It's like, well, maybe this could explain part of the reason why is that he maybe has a good military mind. But then
but
when
that
they
would've
come
made
in with
sense.
he's like, actually, that's not a bad idea. And then you bring in the fact, okay, we're going to send in this this division of fresh meat, so to speak, and they're going to basically be the bait so we can do this and that. And then he gets all incredulous. It's like, I would have structured the scene very differently. I would have
Yeah.
taken Zuko down a notch, built him back up a couple of notches, and then had him speak out of turn. It's like, because
That
to
would
me,
have been
that would
way
have been
better.
that would have been better character development, I think.
Yes. Yeah, and like you said, it would also show his potential. That would have been. I wish they would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes perfect sense. He dishonored himself and spoke out of turn against the authority of his elder father. He's lucky to be alive. Yeah, he did. But we're saying the way they
Well, I think he
handled
was
it in
saying
the
that
show
before
was
I
way
was saying what
better.
I was saying. No, it's like that whole aspect is
He goes,
fine.
and
That
I
whole aspect is
sentence
fine.
you to pink eye.
No.
Look, man, I read into signs, and I was scratching my eyes. You said this, so I'm hoping. There's no reason I should have pink eye unless I was picking up like dog shit or something. And wash my hands. Oh man, my eye was
You're
itching.
gonna go, damn it, three-peat.
So yeah, he spoke out, which all right, this was terrible because like, dude, you just came up with a terrible plan and now you're bold enough to say, oh, this is a terrible plan. I just shut the fuck up.
Because
And
that's
just-
part of why I
Yeah.
think that would be structured a little bit better is to have him build him up a couple of pegs, is because then when he speaks out, part of it is in confidence.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
if you build him up a couple of pegs, then it's like, okay, now he has the confidence that, oh, okay, I was praised for a good idea. Now I can put this guy down for another terrible idea. It's like I think it would have been structured better that way.
Yeah. Jesus
a way you
Christ,
could
you've never
do-
been a kid at the adult table?
Mhm.
Shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah, but you can say or show how maybe in Zuko's plan you end up sacrificing like experienced warriors, and Ozai was like, no, I'd rather sacrifice that new blood.
Mhm.
And so yeah, when you have like that dynamic between those two, it's like, okay, who do we sacrifice? But anyway, yeah, I hated this scene. And then random hater guy, little boy should know better than to play at war.
Yeah.
Go back to your dollies, pretty boy. He didn't say that. I'm making that up.
Which and
He
I'm like,
could've.
this. I had a huge problem with that because I'm like, you're talking to the prince right now. I'm like, it's like you're talking to the prince and his father's right there. It's like that seems a tad risky. It's like,
yeah, but it was kind of like
bit
after
risky.
he shamed himself.
I mean, like the way the show did it, the way the cartoon did it was much simpler. Zuko sits there, he simply listens the whole time, but then when the idea to sacrifice the young troops comes up, he just kind of blows up.
And
Iroh
tells him not to say anything. Just be quiet. Just listen, because he wasn't even supposed to be there.
Yeah. It's like
So
it's much simpler
now-
in the cartoon. I get wanting to flesh it out a little bit, but it could have been done a lot better.
could've.
And again, I think
You could have done it.
It's like, dude, you realize this guy's next in line to be Fire Lord? Do you really want to talk to him this way?
Yeah.
That seems a tad risky. Just saying.
Hey, this dude black.
Oh my goodness.
He mostly black. He mixed, but this Yasuke, this the legendary samurai that they talking about.
What is it that Chris Tucker says in Rush Hour? He says, I'm Blackanese.
This dude black as shit, bro. All right, so Ozai over here is the dude over here disrespecting his son. So what you say about my son? Oh, then we got chunky chick, round face, right here.
Oh yeah, she's farting in that right there. They just caught it at the right moment.
One of the guys.
Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. Oh, seriously, man. Yeah, there was just a brother on set, and it was like the other guy sprained his ankle.
Those are bronze on him.
Yeah, basically he's
Dude
like, there's
looks-
only
He's got-
one way
he's
to
got that
settle
scared
this.
look in his eye. He's like, Mr. Director, I know how to act. He's like, just don't say anything. You'll be fine.
Some of these dudes black too. I said, I bet they, we don't need
I
as many Asians,
do
and we
like
just
the
cover 'em up.
helmets.
Yeah, the armor design is cool. I like
Yeah.
that. Chunky McCrown face.
Xiao, I kind of liked him in this episode, but more
Yeah,
so when he was talking to the scribe.
Yeah, the acting is a little cheesy, but what they're doing with him character-wise, the development is at least natural. He's been given the rank of admiral. He's finally been given charge over the hunt for the Avatar. So him kind of, feeling himself here and talking down to Zuko a bit. It's like, okay, all, the beats of his character do at least make sense. So I will give it that. And the actor, again, it's dialogue's a huge problem in this, so there's only so much you can do. But the actor is more or less doing fine, so that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think I had an issue with him until he was doing that whole like, we've captured the Avatar, let's celebrate.
Well, no. Well, we'll get to that because the way he says it is just freaking hilarious. Because
Oh
it's
my
like you
God.
almost expect a certain very famous song to break out when he says it.
Okay. So they ambushed him.
Let's just
Whole
say he
Hawaii
says
strong.
celebrate in a bit of a cool in the gang fashion.
I thought the exact same thing.
It's ooh. I'm like, somebody's gotta mix that at some point.
Oh yeah.
It's inevitable.
This was, I forgot my issues with this
What?
part right here. Oh, he was but sooner or later he'll make a mistake, and that's when we can make our move. But he was just saying how this stronghold is impenetrable. There's nothing that they can do. So I'm like, what mistake could he possibly make for you and your nephew, your hot-headed nephew, to actually, I don't know, see a win, get the Avatar back?
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of just empty words. And when you could have done something a little bit better with the dialogue rather than just empty words, because there's really nothing to what he's saying. It's
and then
useless dialogue.
In the cartoon, man, it was Zhao had employed the pirates,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually tried to assassinate Zuko, and then
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's a little later on, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and Iroh went onto the ship with Zhao, like, okay, I'll
They
act
do
like,
that angle to a certain degree.
Okay.
In a bit, but yeah, the pirates obviously aren't a part of it.
Okay.
Like here, they're just doing the whole blue spirit thing.
So yeah, this part was funny when Zhao was like, yeah, say the right thing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Make it sound good.
He's again trying to do the whole, I need to help my friends. Well, and I'm like, why do you think they'd give a crap? They put you in chains.
You are manacled.
Yeah.
You really not understand. It's like, kid, you can't be this stupid. It's like, do you get what's going on here, right?
Try saying you got to go to the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
Try a different tactic.
Like it's like they're making Aang seem genuinely surprised that an opposing side would treat him like a prisoner, and I'm like, dang, they don't care about your plight. It's a war.
They have
stupid
told
retard.
you point blank what their intentions are every time you come in contact with them. They're like, we're gonna capture you.
Just let me help them, and then I'll promise I'll come back. And I'm like,
your friends are in trouble, and then you
Yeah.
need to let us know right away.
Oh my gosh, it's so stupid.
This part reminded me of Varric from Korra, The Legend of Korra. That's what
I
Zhao.
never watched Legend of Korra.
Man, Varric is, besides Bolin, he's the funniest dude in the show. But it was just how like all of these things, real world things, are going on around this character, but they do not care. They're only about themselves. So this is what he made me. He reminded me of doing this. I don't think he was supposed to be funny, but this was hilarious. But
Oh no, I think this scene, this little guy who's like I guess he's like kind of a stenographer. It's totally meant for comedy. This is
Okay.
totally meant for the sake of comedy. And it's not necessarily the worst idea. It's just it's presented in a fashion that's a little too cartoonish rather than serious, which is the tone they keep trying to go for.
That's what I'm
Then they
saying,
keep-
man. They are dancing this line so poorly.
Yeah,
between
it's
making it
they're really
dead
yeah,
nuts
they want to dance the line, but they're falling over it over and over again.
It's one of the well, I always say it's one of it. It's one of the many many problems with this show.
White
And-
Bear.
I'm not big on Korra.
What's up,
either,
White Bear?
I actually strongly dislike Korra after season 1.
I've heard so many mixed reviews on it. I didn't try it until
Season 1's fine on its own. It was fine. It even argued like I almost wonder. A lot of people actually wondered after season 1 if it was even going to have another season because its arc pretty much closes after the first season. But then they brought it back, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can bring it back. But I
it's
just
just another
stop
bender.
derailing.
Or...
Stop derailing us.
yeah.
Sorry.
I
My
got
bad.
the comic Turf Wars after the show though. I still haven't read it. All right, I'm gonna play this for y'all. Okay.
There will be mighty battles to be fought, but not tonight.
Tonight.
Tonight, we will celebrate!
Good times. Come on.
Come on. We did the celebration.
Who thought that was a good line reading? I literally, no joke, the first time I watched that, I paused there and I was like, that didn't just happen. He did not just
happen.
cool in the gang that speech. He didn't do that. It's that was
Oh my
horrible.
god, if they would have had like trumpeters that were just like bam, 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 bam,
Yeah, if they had broken out with that song, it would have been amazing.
I would have rated this much higher.
All these soldiers just start splitting apart into their positions.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that would have been cool, man. It would have threw me off.
Another guy takes his helmet off. There's a party going on right here.
I would have been like, that's appallingly meta, but I still kind of like it.
Yeah, it would have been
it's
great.
like why they
Dude.
went with that line reading, I will never know.
I mean, firebenders, they could have been shooting fireballs in the sky. It could have been a real spectacle.
Oh yeah,
shit.
go like a full like redneck fest and
Oh
just have
my
them
God.
shooting fireballs or Middle Eastern like AKs in the air stuff. You could do that a lot of different ways. But this I feel
Man.
bad for this actor because this I think his name is Ken Leung or something like that. He's a good actor. He's actually a good actor. He's been in some really excellent. I mean, he was on Lost. He was on an episode of The Sopranos. He was in Saw. He's been in some good stuff. He's not a bad actor, and this has to be like the low point of his career is saying celebrate that way. Jeez, that's embarrassing.
Ooh, well, he was in The Force Awakens and Velma, so
Oh, he was in Velma. Well, I don't know.
I'm looking at his eye.
But you can't see his. I mean, you can't see his face in Velma. But in Force Awakens, nobody remembers who he was in that. In all likelihood, just kind of blended into the background.
I don't know what a knicker is from a bird. So
The bird knickers. Oh my goodness. Bird knickers. Where?
The crows from Dumbo.
That's what they call crows in the Avatar universe.
Knicker bird.
That's a whole murder of bird knickers.
So
And they're like flying over, like, that's our word. You get
appropriation.
Yeah. What are you gonna fly to?
All right. Dang. The Blue Spirit, more of this, we're just gonna sneak in type stuff.
I hated this, all of this.
Man, I did too, but it wasn't worse than all of the shit that had just happened. So I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
okay,
true.
let's just get past this.
At least they got the mask right, I guess.
Yeah, they got the mask right, which fine. Okay.
Congrats on doing the bare minimum, guys.
Yeah.
We're halfway through, fellas.
Yeah,
Y'all,
we
let's
need to
speed this
scroll.
up.
Yeah, y'all get the gist. He escapes.
They just saw Zhao and the scribe. The Avatar has escaped. There you go. So now they have to fight off some soldiers because they've been caught. Aang finally decides to do some airbending when he could have escaped during daylight hours
At any
when there
point in time.
way less people on him. They do this cool little thing where they have the ladders and they like walk across the battlefield.
Gosh, it's kind of remarkable how much they actually crammed into this episode. I mean, because you've got the whole Fire Sage Temple, him talking to Roku. Now you're doing the Blue Spirit episode. They really crammed for this episode. And and it's like, wow, and this is being crunched into like a 2-3 day period max.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How you doing, Hypnotic?
Just let them go. What's up, Hypnotic? I can't see the chat right now. I'm scrolling through this. Drop the broadswords. This dumb shit right here where
on the head. Oh god, this exchange was painful.
Hey, this one I said Zuko on some gay shit, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
You read my diary.
Yeah.
No, yes, that, but then he like smiled at him. I forgot what Aang said, but Zuko smiled at him. And I was like, what?
Yeah, what did he say?
Like, what?
He said blow on it. No,
Can I
I don't
ask
know
you
what he
something?
said.
And he was like, can I ask you something personal? And I guess they
the brush. It was one time I'm rusty. You write so neat. Everyone said that my handwriting looked like dog shit or goat shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to
and
make
then
you think he was
he's like,
talking about
I
the-
use what did he say? Did he say goat or rabbit?
I think he said
he's
goat.
like,
It was the
well,
goat.
yeah, much neater. All right.
It's like, who the heck
So that lets
fucking
you
cares?
know they might become friends eventually down the line because
Yes. I'm gonna hate if they go full, and I hate to use the word, but if they go full woke and make
you just start making out and sucking each other's cocks.
I don't think they will. I think they'll keep. I don't think they'll have Aang and Katara be a thing. They might just keep Aang asexual. But I see them.
I don't
making
think they're
Zuko
going
gay.
that route because so I mean, and I've complained rightfully that the whole like them leaving out the Katara Aang romantic dynamic was a huge error on this show's part.
Agree.
Because it's really his primary personal motivation, and they've completely neutered that. They start to hint at it. I think in the next 2 episodes, at the very least in the last episode, they start to hint that their romance could happen. You start to see a couple of little looks get exchanged and a little bit more of an emotional connection. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't look like they're getting rid of it entirely. So, I mean, I don't know what the heck they're going to do with Zuko. It wouldn't surprise me if they did something with him because they clearly haven't cast May to be a romantic counterpart for him. I'm sorry, but it's true.
And you say that, Gore, but I think of them talking about the what is it, the Game of Thrones, and how you had like gay stuff going on in that, especially with the House.
No, I mean,
of
it's
the
like
Dragon.
I still think they could do that with one of the characters. I don't think it'll involve Aang.
It'll be
I don't think it'll
be
involve
Zuko
Aang.
because
Zuko, I could see them doing that. I mean, he's Fire Nation, so flaming, but I don't see that with Aang.
And then I don't think we know who his who was that his in Korra.
Do what now?
I don't know. There's Mako. Who was that? Was that Zuko's son or grandson?
I don't remember. I think so, but I don't know.
Okay, well, anyway, there was a guy named he was a follower. Okay, I'm not going there. We don't know his mother. Okay, so I'm just saying all that to say that you can still have them marry a woman traditionally for the politics of it, but still have the little gay shit that they got going on. I hope not, man. But I feel like that's what they're going for. This dude, I'm pretty sure this
I mean,
dude is
I
like
don't
really
know if
gay.
they're going for. I haven't seen anything explicit to suggest anything about Zuko's proclivities. I mean, but it wouldn't surprise me because it is a blank slate at this point. But we'll see. I mean, they have inserted a little bit of that stuff into the show with Oma and Shu being lesbians.
Yeah.
But that's it so far.
Dear
So-
Diary, met the Avatar today. Thought he'd be a gross old man, but he's cute.
Oh man.
Oh God.
He's such a bad boy with that arrow tattoo. But also sensitive.
So this annoyed me right here. From what I know of Zuko, he would have more control of his emotions, or at least understand the situation. They're looking for you guys, and you're going to be that upset to shoot off some goddamn fire.
Yeah,
I
potentially
hate the
reveal
fact
your
that they're-
location.
I hate the fact that they're having a conversation at all. I don't want this, and they did this with him and Iroh already. It's like, why are these people having conversations this early? This is not the time for them to be getting to know each other. The dynamic is we are chasing you to take you home. Getting to know them undermines that. It's like the more they get to know each other, the harder that should become. It's like you are doing this stuff way too early. It's like they should not be having conversations. It should simply be the Avatar is right in front of me. My ticket home is standing in front of me. Why am I even thinking of having a conversation right now? I am going to capture him. That should
And
be the dynamic right now. He's not in a
believe I
place where he
said
should
yes
be questioning.
to this. God.
It's so
Yeah,
bad.
in this adaptation, I can see him like Aang constantly talking because he's just a fucking child, and I don't know. He's
Yeah,
trying to
Aang
cope with the
trying to
situation.
start a conversation himself, which they do that in the cartoon. He starts trying to talk to him. Zuko should not reciprocate that at all. He
And in
should
the
be like,
cartoon, he didn't.
yeah.
If I remember, they were in the North Pole, like one of those water tribe places. And Zuko doesn't respond. His response was shoot a fireball
Yeah.
at him. There was no
No,
talk.
It's before
verbatim.
the North. It's
That
before the North
exchange
Pole.
right there is
They're
verbatim.
Okay,
It's
okay.
like, yeah, he throws it. Oh, this is the part where Ozai breaks his jacket with his nips. That was. Can you play that for a second? It's right there.
My military, that's what you have insulted.
Oh
Forgive
no!
me, Father. I meant no
I'm
disrespect.
sorry, Daddy.
Rise.
No, please, Father.
Rise!
There it is.
I mean, it's a little bit with his arms, but
A little bit with his arms. But I was watching it on my phone, and I had to go back. I was like, did he just like, man?
With the nips.
Yeah, I'll say
With
this also.
nips.
I don't like that they have a fight. I hate that this is an actual fight and that Zuko almost wins. This is
Yeah,
terrible.
This shouldn't even be.
This
close.
is a horrible idea. It's like
Do you mean
Ozai
win
should not
or
do what now?
actually land? Do you mean win or actually lands a hit on Ozai?
No, he should not land a hit. He should. I don't like the fact that he even tries to fight him. I think I think it's the scene is so much more effective if Zuko just refuses outright to fight him and he scars him anyway. It's like I don't know why you would want him to appear less cruel than that. I mean, that actually really works because that's how they do it in the cartoon is he refuses to fight outright and he gets scarred for it. They keep it that way, but if you're intent on having them fight, Zuko should not even come close to landing a blow on his father. He's a kid. Ozai should be able to just dismantle him with no issue whatsoever. He actually loses the fight. Zuko just refuses to do anything, and his own compassion causes him to lose. And I'm like, that's stupid. You've nerfed your villain fighting wise. You've completely nerfed him fighting wise. Because like a 14-year-old kid can beat him in a fight. That's not good. That's really bad. That is really bad moving forward. Ozai should be able to handle everybody with no problem.
Okay, so that and I had an issue with Iroh coming out here and speaking against Ozai because that's basically the shit that Zuko did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ozai should have smacked his ass right there too with some fire.
It's like, what are you doing speaking out of turn? That's why we're here. I'm
Yeah,
glad
he would have
I'm
been
like,
like,
I don't have
"Oh,
to.
I already did one eye today. Thank God I get to do a matching set. Get over here,
Oh
brother."
shit! Oh my, hold on. I don't know if y'all remember that Cat Williams that comedy special, but when he was talking about the when white people say stuff to like black people when they discipline their kids in public, so the black mom would be like beating the black kid, and then the white lady say something, and then she was like, "You're next." I should have did the Iro.
Oh, yeah.
After I get done whooping his ass, you next, bro.
Mind your business.
It's such a bad show.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking earlier, going like, you know.
Well, no, it's that this is why I encourage people to watch things more than once. If there's uncertainty, especially if you're hearing people say one thing in particular, one way or the other. If there's a lot of people who really love something, a lot of people really hate something. I think it's good, especially if you're going to be a critic of some kind, watch things multiple times so you can get a beat on why the narrative is what it is,
I
and
am
to
not
see
watching
if
this
reality
multiple times.
matches that. This is
That's
an
true.
instance where I think most people, I think the reason why the narrative on this show collectively is kind of, oh, it's fine, or it's okay. There doesn't seem to be a strong opinion amongst fans as far as this is really good or this is really bad. It's more, it's fine. I think it's mostly because people watch it once and they just kind of leave it where it is. And I'm like, really pay attention, and you start to see that this show's a huge mess. It's a huge mess.
The only thing I
And
heard people
also
really
that shoulder
praise,
butthole looks like it hurts.
yeah, that looks worse than what we get from his eye.
That
But
looks a
Oh
lot worse
God!
than his
And
face.
then the exposition afterwards, it was like, well, you can see. And it was like, oh great.
It already has Whitey. They've picked up season 2 and 3, so for all intents and purposes, they're gonna get to finish it.
yeah, they finishing this out. But yeah, the only thing that I've heard people actually praise was what y'all praised earlier about the backstory of the 41st Division,
Yeah,
and people
All
like
right.
that.
this show did, and it's sad because this show didn't have to be bad. It didn't have to be
No.
bad.
course.
It was miscast, but better writing probably would have at least helped some of the less accomplished actors.
I don't think it was yeah, it was
I
miscast.
think better writing could have helped that. I don't think it's all the actors' fault. I think it's bad direction and horrible writing.
Yeah, like this Iro, for instance. I'm like, dude, make some jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not here,
God
obviously,
damn.
but
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not here.
not here. We didn't want you popping up like burn, nothing like that. But
that would be great though. He's like, "Give me some lavender tea, stat," and he throws it on his eye.
it would be funny if he threw hot tea in his face to heal it. That hurts more.
I'm trying to get the Azula part.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, for what
Yeah.
they're suggesting he's doing here, that burn doesn't look at all like it should. That
Well, look,
a
he looks like
black
he's.
caused that-
This is
that
gonna hurt me
borderline-
more than it hurts you.
Yeah, it's like the shoulder shot was just one shot and looks horrible. Here he's
Yeah.
literally holding the flame on his face, and it's like, oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah,
Like, why did it
she
not
looks retarded
pause?
right there.
Like
Why
the
can't-
agony card, when does it end? Because you can easily like, dude, get up, try to fucking move, Zuko. You don't have to just sit there and just take that.
Honestly, if you stood up and said like "no, fuck you" and fought back, maybe you might get a little bit more respect from your dad.
This is why they shouldn't have had him fight in the first place. Because obviously
Yes.
in the cartoon, he's just knelt before him saying, "I won't fight you," and he just hits him with a fire blast. As the suggestion there is, it's not this long, slow process. It's more just a blast to the face that causes it.
Daddy, why
Here,
you burn
he's
brother?
literally like welding his face. And it's like, that's
Daddy, why you hurting him?
Yeah, this face is confusing as shit because I mean her mouth, I could almost see this as like a smirk, but
They
then
gave
yeah,
her
she does. I
down-
mean, well, and the fact that
Yeah,
she's
maybe.
looking at all is suggestive, but it's just this is just bad casting in general.
Yeah,
because she just doesn't have the right face for this at all.
she does not. They gave her Down syndrome bangs. And
Yeah, like, is this supposed to
She-
be a tear? Like this little
Yeah.
glisten?
I think it's more they're going just for the glint in the eye. I don't think they're going for a tear. But yeah, it's just. It's
yeah,
just
no,
bad casting on her
yeah,
part.
this is terrible casting.
CGI that shit then, because
I mean, it'd be one thing if this girl, despite her look, was a great actress, but she's not.
But also, this is a flashback scene too, so like they could have cast a different actress. You know what I mean? Like you could assume that this was when they were all young, a little younger.
Well, I
you
mean,
know
it's not far enough back,
Oh.
I think, to pull that off. But still, it's
yeah, I don't think so.
why you've given her those Zoe Deschanel bangs. I don't understand
Yeah.
that. But yeah, it's
I
they're
miss my
trying.
friends. Look, he says I miss my friends, but then when we got the Omashu, he didn't say shit about Boomy until the next episode. Hey, I did have a friend named Boomy. You're that guy.
Yeah, the dialogue between them is just like he's already tried to hurt him, and now he's still with him. It's like, and it's them being together at this point doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's
And
just
then
nonsense.
the nations came together.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
and obviously
Cars.
this is the part where the Toyota Nation attacks, and
the Toyota benders.
yeah,
They found
Aang,
Sokka's plans.
Aang doesn't have Appa, so he has to find a way to get back to the forest. And it turns out there's a Toyota dealer nearby, and he has three choices. You look at the colors of the cars. You got air there on the left, water in the middle, fire on the right.
Damaged? That car looks damaged. The silver one looks damaged.
It's just ugly.
Oh, okay.
I guess I gotta play this ad.
Yeah, you got
never mind.
got your Fire Nation sales lady.
It was like, "Are you with me?" And you hear a bunch of horns honking.
Hey, relish it. This is the best acting of the show so far.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I like this
Most
part.
polished scene.
Yeah, that was highlight of the episode.
He reminds me of the grandpa in
I love
Three
what you do.
Ninjas, or who's a guy from Big Trouble Little China. You need to leave Jack Burton alone.
Are you scrubbing from Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the reason. I'll try to send you a better source. Or I can scrub.
But...
I can scrub next time if you want. I have a better source than this. No ads.
Okay, for sure.
I can do that next time.
All right, so this is when he starts to tell them.
Yeah, this is where we finally get the reveal about, how he was gifted the 41st. He stood up for. Like, the weird thing is, at this point, we've already seen so much of this backstory. We've already seen him stand up for them. So, he makes them their crew and everything, and I'm like, okay, I mean, you could almost argue the way it's structured almost makes it more. It's like, well, are they that thankful to him, or because Ozai is the one who handed it to him? It's like, it's like you probably should have shown Iroh telling them this back when you first revealed that he stood up to the general about it. It's like that would have been the place where you tell the soldiers, oh yeah, he stood up for you all. It's very out of order.
I wish to speak with my son. Yeah, all of this dialogue sucks, but yeah, it was more of that Ozai seemingly cares about this dude.
Yeah, it doesn't really translate.
I burned him.
Like I said, even when he burned
him,
he had like this painful look on his face, and then basically for him to tell him like, you suck, you're weak, you're too much like your mother, but I'm gifting you a whole army, or I'm gifting you a whole regiment.
That weak ass compassion in you, son. You gotta burn that out.
Yeah, it's
what is weak can become strong if you give it time.
Just give it a chance. Clearly my son is homosexual. We're going to have to banish him because that's not allowed here.
You're gonna blow the Avatar, aren't you?
The caterpillar can never become a butterfly if you don't allow it to cocoon.
Yeah. Haven't you read The Hungry Caterpillar, Dad?
Do you want to know what happened with Ko once we get his artifact back? Oh, I'm a beautiful butterfly. Any Bugs Life fans out there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Appreciate the
I need to see that now. Go gets it, turns into the butterfly, little tiny.
That would have
wing.
been hilarious. I would have
Wow.
almost appreciated that. It's like, at least you're gonna go all in with it.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
That and the celebration scene, we could have had a hit.
Do
So
the
Adam
rocks
sending
here
you
at
out
least
to
look
the
down
world.
as all that a lie? No, that wrong show, Dempsey. Wrong show. I don't know if ships look up and rocks look down in this universe. I'm not sure if that's how it works. That's Rings of Power.
I made it
Yeah.
through halfway through the first episode and I turned it off.
Oh, Rings of Power.
I couldn't do it.
Well, obviously, I went further than that with the videos I've done, and
Yes.
you can imagine how many times I had to watch them to do that.
I'm not a
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings fan, so I didn't bother.
Talk about character assassination.
When you say Taco Bout, it makes me think of all the lame ass little puns on anything dealing with the taco. I want tacos now, though.
Yeah, so
Tacos
do
are
I. I'm
good.
starting to get hungry.
But yeah, here they try to give Zuko a little moment where they all finally respect him, even though Iroh only told one person. Why everyone suddenly is lined up doing?
Well, you know, word gets around.
got around pretty fast. Got around pretty quick. I'm
Fuck
like,
you,
I
bro.
think one person would have been enough, but it's like, no, he needs a whole.
I'm
Dempsey.
surprised they didn't have like a quick clip of them like playing telephone throughout the.
Or
they
like
did
show
with
like a
the,
little montage of like them talking about it or something. Then you could have at least got, but no, he has to get his little hero shot or whatever. Because everybody
Lion
knows now.
The Lion King accomplished that. You just made me think about that saying. And I just can't wait to be a king. We had all the animals like telling, "Oh, it's the king." Y'all
Yep.
know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking.
Yeah. Just made me think about that saying. But no, I had said like when they were talking about the Sky Bison and how word got around earlier in the series. I kind of want to play this, and episode 1 got taken down because I played too much of it. We'll see what happens with this episode.
It's not. I don't think it's worth it to play this monologue of Iroh's. It's not even a good monologue.
That's why I wanted to play it because it was just so retarded.
They keep doing it. They keep doing the monologue to end the episode. They're going for poignancy, and it never lands. It never lands. And what's worse is, I was telling y'all last week, this whole angle with Ko is not satisfying because you think that there's going to be like a pretty, pretty freaky like confrontation of some sorts. Like, no, it's just while he's giving his little speech and gives back the artifact, and that's it. Everything's
It's a nothing
fine.
burger.
Yeah, and it could have been like 2 bodies seems too much for one totem or some shit. It's like, oh snap!
Yeah, it's like you could have done something interesting here, but it's like, oh, mommy statue, thanks. Here you go. You can have them all back. I don't. Who needs to eat when I got my little totem back?
It's like, really, you're not even gonna give him like a riddle or something. Like,
Yeah,
it's
he
just gonna be
gave
that easy.
Now I can remember my gender identity.
Yeah, I'm a real boy.
I'm a beautiful
My
butterfly.
identity's back.
Yeah, I was like, did Aang ever tell him? Which I guess he could have figured out those were the 2 newest souls in the fog. But I was like, how does he know that these are Aang's friends? But it didn't matter because everybody came out for that one totem. So yeah. Ko's no more. He's no longer hungry.
No. It's that.
Well,
I,
he's got his
I don't know
mama
how that
back.
works, but yeah, he's now. It's like, well, I don't need
Oh,
to eat.
he has his mama back. He sucked
Yeah,
her
he's got his
titty.
mama back. Yeah. Oh, I was just suggesting that she was just gonna like cook for him, but you know,
No, he's
yeah,
going back
titty's
to
funnier.
breastfeeding.
I like to.
I don't have to hunt for my own food anymore.
Yeah.
And we really don't even get a close up, like no dialogue from them. He's just
Yeah.
back there, and the souls, the bodies just walk out.
And no consequences to him taking that long either. Nobody died, nothing like that. It's just it's so bad. It's so bad. It's nonsense. There's no actual consequences. There's nothing.
Resolution, my brother who made the doll.
Yeah.
Remember?
Because that story angle needed closure and we cared about it.
Yeah, that mattered so much. Gyatso, no Gyatso. I really don't know why. Gord, you got something? Sammy?
What as far as like
why Gyatso's not there anymore?
No,
there was no reason for him to be there in the first place.
Right.
There really wasn't a good reason for him to be there to begin with. It was just there to. I think it was there for the purpose of emotional manipulation. They wanted to endear
Poorly.
you to Aang, but in the previous episode by showing him somebody he loved, and then they take him away. It's like, oh, that's sad. And I'm like, yeah, but who cares?
Okay.
It doesn't make a lot of sense why he was there to begin with, and it doesn't make a lot of sense why he's leaving. So, pick one, because he really didn't justify either.
As you say that, I'm trying to think about, okay, what role did he actually play? And it was to tell him about Roku. And then the cartoon, Roku's dragon did that.
Yeah, you literally could have accomplished the same thing by saying it's like you stole something from him, and he's like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, in your previous form. And then when he leaves the spirit world to try to help Katara and Sokka, he's like, well, my previous form was Roku, so I'll go talk to Roku. You don't need Gyatso there at all. There's no point to him being there.
There's no
Ask
point.
yourself that question, Roku of the Fire Nation.
Yeah, it's like you literally could accomplish story-wise the same thing without Gyatso. So my conclusion is bringing in Gyatso was emotional manipulation. That's it.
Yeah.
They wanted you to feel some emotions. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't care about this relationship very much. So no. It's like you already accomplished what you needed to with Aang and Gyatso when you showed them, their relationship in the first episode, and then him discovering that he died. That was enough. That's all you needed.
All right.
Like you don't need to revisit that.
This is so bad. I was waiting for like Aang to like be flying, like doing like a flyby in front of the camera, and they had like what's that song they always use in like superhero movies, like "Go on and save yourself, take it out on me."
I mean, it's like they bring Gyatso in. Gyatso could have very easily told him, "Aang, I won't be here when you get back," or something. It's like because like you've undermined him. If nothing else, it's like, well, why didn't he tell him he wasn't going to be there? That's kind of cruel, isn't it?
They've already established that that he was no longer going to be taking care of him anyway. So
pointless. It's pointless
Oh.
manipulation. A bad attempt and a poor attempt at it. Because I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work. I don't care.
Bada bing, Copa, bada bing.
You know what, Copa? I figured maybe he somehow made like little air holes that he could still breathe. I guess. I don't know. Fading away was a long drive just to get the hell out of city. I'm on it. Nah, man, I got you for sure. Take care of y'all. It was a good stream. We at that 2-hour mark. I don't want to hold y'all too much longer. I do enjoy the conversation. Do y'all got any final thoughts for this or anything?
Yeah, what would everybody rate? What would everyone rate this episode? I'm curious.
Like within itself, or like within the series itself, or like
I don't know if I can do that, Gord.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I was rating each episode individually as I went. I thought that was kind of fun to do because I was like, what would this show average out to be if I did it that way? So I was doing it, but yeah, this was one of Yeah, I think I
none of
told
these
everyone.
episodes would be above a 4 out of 10.
Well, yeah, no, that's the funny thing. 4 out of 10 was the best rating I gave to any of the episode, and it was the second one. The Kiyoshi / Suki episode, I think, is probably the best episode. I gave that one a 4 out of 10. So none of them are good.
I mean, besides them making my boy Sokka look like the woman
yeah,
in that scene with Suki.
like literally every episode I gave a 2 or 3 or 4. I think this is one of the episodes I gave a 2. This is one of the 2s, or it might have been a 3, but this was definitely one of the 2s or 3s. It was pretty awful. And yet, I think this might be the highest rated episode on IMDb. I could be wrong about that, but I think this might be the highest rated episode, which is hilarious.
I didn't rate the episodes, but I was
this says
like
8.3 out of 10.
Yeah, which shows anytime I see anybody using audience scores as a flex, which is very typical of quote unquote non-woke people, I'm like, stop. Audiences can be just as dumb, if not dumber, than critics. That's pretty common. So it's not a flex. It's both sides of that coin are stupid a lot of the time.
Yeah, as I was thinking on it, I was like, I didn't have a numerical like rating, but I was like, which one was my favorite episode so far? And it's still episode 2, because from what I remember, it doesn't taint too much. It just girl bossed.
Mm-hmm.
It tainted Sokka, and again, that interaction with Suki. And Kiyoshi did more than what she should have, but it was cool to see.
Yeah, like the merits of the second episode, I would say, are one, it's the only episode that actually got a genuine chuckle out of me. Like it had a moment or two where I was like, yeah, that was kind of funny. And I thought Suki and Sokka's relationship more or less worked the way they intended. I was like, yeah, that's not bad. I kind of liked that. But that was all it really had. But I was like, that was enough for me to say I could understand if somebody liked this episode.
I thought Suki was the hottest one.
Suki, the actress who played Suki was really pretty. She was a really cute girl. They cast her well. I
think I saw something about her being a lesbian.
Huh?
I think I saw something about her being a lesbian.
Well, of course,
I can fix her.
I can join in with her.
I mean, if Sokka, is the only guy they're trying to give you. I mean, but yeah, this is looking at the episode ratings on IMDb, this is the highest rated one, which is hilarious. I think that's mostly due to the number of member berries it drops. It's a lot.
Yeah,
they're putting in so much of the show into this that I think
and the old showrunners wrote the episode, so I'm sure that spread around. And
man, I would question how much they actually wrote though, because I just thought about, so you're talking about member berries. We saw Kiyoshi avatar out, but we didn't get to see Roku, and that's when he took over Aang, when he fought those sages and took down his that temple, that shrine, and the gang flew out on Appa and they escaped. So we didn't even get to see the man take over Aang and do his avatar thing.
Yeah, I think so I rated this episode a 3. The next 2 episodes, so the next episode is worse. Just so you know, the next episode's actually worse, and the one that follows that is slightly better but still terrible.
That's another thing too. I have a hard time rating episodes like within a series until I've seen the full thing. And
I think it probably helped that I watched all. I like these last 3 episodes in particular. Like I usually watch them several episodes at a time. I finished the season in 3 sittings. I did like 3 episodes, 2 episodes, 3 episodes.
And I pride myself on doing my homework. I've had a very hard time sitting down and watching this. It was just like every single time I'll watch about like 2 episodes, and right on my Netflix list is the original series, and it's just like, oh fuck that, I'd much rather watch this. And it makes it terrible. And plus I had to watch that crazy ass Nickelodeon documentary that was
I still need to watch it.
I haven't seen that. I know about it, but I haven't watched that. I don't know if I want to watch it. It sounds horrifying.
You know what? My wife was so shocked by this, and I was like, oh, shocker. Like, it's a nightmare being a child star. You know, like
Yeah. That's why I'm like, do I need to watch this to confirm what I feel like I've known for a really long time?
this is how I explained it. It was like, okay, take a look at the Olsen twins, then take a look at their younger sister who didn't get famous until she was like in her 20s.
Mhm.
And it was like, there.
Who's
That's
got
all
the
you.
messier lives?
Yeah, there you go.
Man, I was crushing on the Olsen twins so hard.
Oh, me too.
I was when Full
Not
House
anymore.
was a thing. Stephanie was more close to my age, so I was more like had a crush on her when I watched Full House because
Okay.
she's like a
Uh-huh.
year older than I think, a year or so older than I was. So yeah,
Yeah,
She's body wise, she a brick house.
that's what I hear. I never watched the new Full House. I didn't. I was over Full House by the time I was like 10. But
Shit, I watched it. I enjoyed it. Fuller House.
I was always a Christina
well, then
Ricci
why
guy.
didn't you say she was built like a Full House? That would have made more sense.
She might
You
be
right.
mate.
You right. That would have made more sense. No, she's tall. Her shoulders are wide. She got some big tits. I mean, her butt's not really thick. It's kind of flat, but you know, she's cute, so it's fine. She's a good time.
I'll take it.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah,
we
no,
can
I
get-
always love that on like Twitter when they have a poll. It was like, which way, and they show like two hot chicks, and it's always like yes,
Fuller blouse. That's
Yeah.
pretty good, Dempsey. Fuller blouse.
fuller blouse,
That's pretty good.
chip a tooth on those things.
Y'all, let's go. I don't have
Yeah, Avatar.
Yeah,
It's terrible. Why are we
Yeah.
doing this to ourselves?
I'm wishing my microphone was a gun.
No, you got to come through for another episode.
we got
it
we got
happened.
2 left. We got the 2-part Northern Water Tribe. We get to
Damn, we
see
haven't
one of
seen that
the
yet.
best horrible wigs of all time.
I can be back for the last episode.
Nice.
Okay, we'll figure it out. But we ending the season on the patriarchy. Bad.
Jeez, oh my god, I would not be shocked if that's the entire message of all of this. Is
I wouldn't say it's the entire message, but it's there.
uh,
I mean,
Yeah.
granted, the Water Tribe, the Northern Water Tribe thing, that actually is a part of the cartoon to a certain extent, that women aren't allowed to fight, but they actually handle it well on the cartoon. In this, there is a bit of an Avengers Endgame female team up, which
oh,
What?
there's a
No.
kernel, there's actually a kernel of a good idea, and it's of course mismanaged. Like, they actually do something with it that I'm like, okay, that actually could be something that makes sense, what you're all trying here, but not the
The
way
most-
you're doing it.
the most famous superhero of all, female superhero of all, mismanaged.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I guess I get to see the UA stuff you were talking about.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's just horrible.
All right,
Well,
so I'm
this was
tired.
painful. Thanks for having me on.
Hey,
Yes.
thank you, man. I'm about to go scour the neighborhood for tacos for a taco truck.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
gotta-
try to catch about 3 more hours of sleep before work.
Get it, man. Y'all don't have to stay for to in the backstage with. I'm gonna play this and get people out of here, and we out. All right, good night, people. Catch us
Later,
next Friday.
chat.
Yeah,
See
same
ya.
time.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.
Please sit. Why don't you enjoy a cup of calming jasmine tea? Prince Zuko. Pride is not the opposite of shame, but its source. True humility is the only antidote to shame.